A very good morning, dear children. Today we will continue with the remaining part of Chapter 3, Life Processes in Living Organisms, Part 2. In the last class, we learned about sexual reproduction in plants, and in this class, we are going to be learning about sexual reproduction in human beings. In the last class, we learned about sexual reproduction in plants by first understanding the parts of a flower and then discussing about the process of sexual reproduction. The same pattern we'll be following here, where we first learn about the male reproductive system and the female reproductive system, and then we will learn about the process of sexual reproduction. So, we have studied in the chapter of heredity and variation that men have XY sex chromosome along with the 22 autosome, and women have XX sex chromosome along with the 22 autosome. The reproductive system with the specific organ develops in the body of men and women because of these sex chromosomes only. Now, we will begin by learning the male reproductive system. The male reproductive system consists of the testis, which is present in the scrotum outside the abdominal cavity. The testis consists of numerous seminiferous tubules. The germinal epithelium that is present in the tubule, it is going to divide by meiosis and it is going to produce sperms in it. These sperms are sent through various tubules. The sperm that is produced has a size of 60 micrometer. This 60 micrometer particle, it moves from the seminiferous tubules, passes through rete testis, the vas efferens, passes through the epididymis, which is divided into three parts: head of the epididymis, body of the epididymis, and tail of the epididymis. This epididymis itself is 6 meters in length. And then after it crosses the tail of the epididymis, it passes through vas deferens. As the sperm is passing from one place to another, as it's pushed forward from one duct to the next, it becomes mature and is able to fertilize the ovum. Let's look at this. So this is how the sperms are moving forward. Same thing again we will repeat. So we learned just now that the sperms are made by meiosis. In the testis it is made. From the testis it moves into epididymis. From the epididymis it moves forward through the tube that is called vas deferens. From this vas deferens it moves forward and then it moves into this duct, which is called as the urinogenital duct. Now the word itself is telling you urinogenital duct. That means the same duct is used for passing urine as well as the sperms are ejaculated from the same duct. And this duct is present in an organ called as the penis. The male reproductive system also have a lot of glands. The seminal vesicle secretes its secretion in the ejaculatory duct. The prostrate gland and corpus gland secrete their secretion into the urinogenital duct. So, the sperm, which is now in the urinogenital duct, needs to be in this liquid, which is formed by the secretions of these three glands, that is seminal vesicle, prostrate gland, and corpus gland. The secretions of these glands along with the sperm forms the semen. This is how the sperms move through the liquid content or the liquid semen. Now starting with the human female reproductive system. The female reproductive system consists of pair of ovaries, pair of the oviduct, a single uterus, and a vagina. Every month, an ovum is released into the abdominal cavity alternatively from each ovary. The free end of the oviduct, it is funnel-like and an opening is present at its center. So the oocyte crosses through it and enters into the oviduct through that opening. There are cilia or hair-like structures which are present on the inner surface of the oviduct, and this cilia is going to push the oocyte towards the uterus. Semen is ejaculated in the vagina during copulation, and sperms in numbers of few millions, they start their journey by the route of the vagina, the uterus and the oviduct. Now, many sperms move towards the left hand side and many move towards the right hand side. Now, as we can see, the ones which have moved towards the left, in the left oviduct, there is no egg. And that is why the sperms which enter into the left hand side do not have an egg to fertilize, and that is why they get destroyed. However, the sperms which are moved towards the right hand side have an egg to fertilize. So from several sperms which have reached on the right, very few make it to the egg and they fertilize the egg. This process of the union of a sperm and an egg is called as fertilization. Even though many sperms meet with the egg, only one can enter into the egg. So as we can see here, only one is entering the egg. Once the sperm has entered into the egg, the coat of the egg, it becomes hard such that it cannot have any other sperm entering after that. Once this egg has got fertilized, it undergoes a lot of cleavages and divisions. This repeated mitotic division happens in such a way that there are several stages in this, where the stages may include a stage where it has 2 cells, 2, 4 cells, 16 cells, that is morula, and then it gets converted into a blastocyst. In the blastocyst stage, the cells are arranged in such a way that there are a lot of cells which are lined up in the inner layer. That inner layer forms the human child, whereas the outer layer of the cell forms the placenta, which is going to provide nutrition for the growing child. Let us look at this. Unfertilized egg gets fertilized on the first day. It gets converted into 4-cell embryo on the second day, then 8-cell embryo on the third day, then the morula or 16-cell stage on the 4th day, and then the blastocyst on the 5th day. This blastocyst is what is going to get converted into a human child. That is, the inner layer of the cell forms the human child, whereas the outer layer forms the placenta that is important to provide nutrition for the growing child. When the sperm is fertilizing the egg, its movement towards the uterus, during its movement towards the uterus, that is the time when it is getting converted into blastocyst. So from the oviduct till the uterus, till the time it reaches the uterus, it has to go through these stages so that when it reaches the uterus, it is in the form of a blastocyst. Once it has reached the uterus, it gets connected or gets attached into the lining of the uterus, and this is called as implantation. Once it has got implanted, the remaining development happens in the uterus. It gains its nutrition from the placenta based on what the nutrition of the mother is, and it starts growing. This is how there are changes that happen in the blastocyst in such a way that a human child is formed. Once the child is completely developed, the baby starts pushing against the cervix, causing it to stretch, and because of the stretching of the cervix, it sends nerve impulses to the brain. The brain starts stimulating the pituitary gland to release a hormone called as the oxytocin. Once the oxytocin is released, there will be the uterus contraction starts beginning. Uterus contraction is very much important for parturition. that is nothing but the birth process. So, because of the uterus contraction, the child is pushed out from the female reproductive system. This is how the child is being moved out because of the uterus contraction. Now, there are two things or two main points to remember whenever we are talking about reproduction. The first thing is that man is totally responsible whether the couple will have a boy or a girl child. During the zygote formation, man contributes X or Y chromosome to the next generation. How is that? We have learned that gametes are haploid in nature, which means that whenever a sperm is formed, it is going to take only one of the pair of chromosome, which means suppose a sperm is being formed from pair 1 of the chromosome, it will take any one chromosome. From pair 2, it takes one chromosome. From pair 3, it takes one chromosome, and so on. It completes with all the 23 pairs. So what it is doing is it's taking one of the pair. It is not taking both, or it's not taking both the chromosomes, or it's not taking the entire pair. It takes only one copy of the chromosome. So if it has taken one copy of the autosome, it is obvious that it will take one copy of the sex chromosome also, which means when the sperm is formed, it will have either the X chromosome or it will be having a Y chromosome. So if you're talking about sperms, there are two types. One is which has 22 autosome plus X chromosome, or it has 22 autosome plus a Y chromosome. But when you're talking about an egg, whenever an egg is formed or a female gamete is formed, it is going to take, similar to the sperm, it's going to take one copy only. But because both the sex chromosomes are X only, all the eggs are of one type only, that is 22 plus X. So, if the sperm which has the X chromosome is combining with the female egg which is X, the X of the sperm and the X of the egg combine together to give rise to a girl child. However, if the Y chromosome, if the sperm containing the Y chromosome is combining with the egg which is X, the X of the egg and the Y of the sperm combine together to form the boy child. The second point to remember is that in a male, sperms are produced in the testis from the beginning of puberty, that is maturation, till the death. However, in case of women, at the time of birth itself, there are 2 to 4 million immature oocytes in the ovary of the female fetus. An oocyte matures and it's released from the ovary every month from the beginning of maturity till the age of menopause. Menopause is nothing but the stoppage of the functioning of the female reproductive system. So as the female is becoming older, the eggs are also becoming older. So because of this, what happens is that their ability or the ability of the eggs to divide becomes lower. Because of this, they cannot complete meiotic division properly. If a female becomes or starts carrying a child at a later age, such oocytes, they are fertilized, but the newborn who is produced from them may be with some abnormalities like the Down syndrome. We should remember that at the age of about 45 or 50 years old, the secretion of hormones controlling the function of the female reproductive system either stops or becomes irregular, and this causes the menopause. I hope what was done today is clear. Thank you.